Hail to the king, baby.
Welcome to the Scream Kingdom. I'm your Scream King, Tom. Avert your eyes. Scream Kingdom is brought to you by HorrorMerch.com. HorrorMerch.com, you can find hundreds of clothing, accessories, and collectibles, all horror-themed and all for you. Go to HorrorMerch.com, buy some stuff, and show your support, all right? Delving into some indie horror news. The Tour just finished filming a short film, a haunted house short film with a twist, featuring Jessica Cameron and Heather Dorff. Now, they were flying over to England to shoot this, and it actually looks like it's going to be pretty cool. They shot this in Weimering Manor, which is one of the most haunted locations in England, and it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Alex Mathieson and Damon Rickard are the ones that are directing this, and they co-wrote the script together, so definitely be on the lookout for Ms. Cameron and Ms. Dorff in The Tour. Adam Albrandt, the guy behind The Cemetery and Crossbearer, shooting his new film The Sadist. He's got an online auction for the first copy of it. It's going to be limited to 666 copies, and at last check, the auction for the first one of a movie that is not even shot yet was over $1,000. So an amazing amount of support for a true artiste in Adam Albrandt, and I can't wait to see The Sadist. I've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff. I think Tiffany Loretta Vendetta posted a couple pictures that looked pretty fucked up, and it looks like it's going to be a slick, fucked up movie. So can't wait to see that. Also on the indie horror front, I went to the premiere a couple weeks ago at Horror Hound Cincinnati, and Time to Kill, man, is blowing up. It played at Cinema Wasteland last weekend. This weekend it played in London, Ontario, Canada, and they finally have the site up to where you can buy a DVD, and it's at mostlyharmlesspictures.com, and pick up the DVD and buy me one while you're at it, because I don't have one yet, and I want one. So yeah, go buy yourself one and then send one to the Scream King. All right, thanks. Also, I'm not going to yammer too much, but we got two great interviews coming. First up is awesome actress Genevieve Rossi, who is turning up in everything. She's worked with everybody: Mike O'Mahony, the aforementioned Adam Albrandt, Bill Zabub, Scott Perry, and the In Fear of web series that screened a couple episodes of Horror Hound, and one of my favorite people, Susie Adrian, said won Best Actress in that. But Genevieve Rossi's coming up, and then there is a interview with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, somebody I'm proud to call friend, Jimmy O'Burl. He's going to tell us a little about the Chainsaw Sally, the animated series, and basically let's talk film, and he's going to tell you how much he loves Tristan Risk. So enough of me yammering, and check out the two interviews afterwards. And as always, visit HorrorMerch.com, our generous sponsor, and buy some horror-themed clothing, accessories, and collectibles. HorrorMerch.com. Go there, buy stuff. I'm out. Until next time, enjoy the interviews. I'm your Scream King. I can do anything. Thanks. Okay, on the Scream Kingdom, I have the lovely and talented actress Genevieve Rossi on the phone for an exclusive interview. How are you this evening?
Perfect. How are you doing today?
Very good. A little under the weather. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to get you on here and talk to you is for a while there, it seemed like every movie I was reviewing, you were popping up in. I mean, you've worked with a lot of the new guards, so to speak, and a lot of the knucklehead guys like James Basalmo, Mike O'Mahony, and I think you just got done working with Adam Albrandt?
Exactly right, yep.
And guys like Adam Sotelo and Bill Zabub even, who I just had a great time with at Horror Hound Weekend a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been working with all of them. Yep, exactly.
So what can you tell us about what you got coming out right now? I know you got Catch of the Day coming out, and Apocalypse Kiss comes out pretty soon.
Exactly right. In fact, today, actually on April 8th, was the day Apocalypse Kiss is going to go on demand, and it's going to go to Netflix, and it's going to go, all over the place. Cable on demand, all that stuff is available on Amazon, all over the internet, So for Apocalypse Kiss, which has me in it, it has Michael Berryman, Tom Atkins, DC Douglas does an amazing job as our lead character. It's a great film. You got to check it out. It's amazing. And then, of course, yes, Catch of the Day coming out as well, so I'm really excited about that. And then we're having a Schiller Theater Horror Convention in a couple weeks And Ryan Scott Wepper's Witch's Blood is going to be premiering there, so I'm really excited about that. And also Flush of the Beast, Zuko's Curse, which is directed by Paolo Morano and put out by Fever Dreams and Meteor Blasters, is going to be premiering at Chiller Theater as well. So I'm really excited about that. I'm in episode, I believe, 4 of that series. So, I have a whole bunch of things coming out. The Souls, I think, is going to be coming out soon as well. A whole bunch of things, are out there. Perseveration's out now. Dark Place Inside is already out. No one can buy that from Michael Mahoney, And then the Inferior web series that I'm in is going to be released on YouTube right now. It's produced by Ryan Scott Weber, and I star in a couple episodes. One, Agoraphobia, Fear of Sexual Assault, directed by Bradley Cranzo. I star in that. And Fear of Blindness, directed by Jeremiah Kipp. I'm one of the stars of that, too. So I have a whole bunch of things coming out right now.
Yeah, I was on the selection committee for the Horror Hound Film Festival a couple of weeks ago, and we screened 3 episodes of In Fear of. I think we screened one that you were in, and I got to talk to Scott Perry, the producer of the series, when I was there. He actually wiped his ass with a poster while I was interviewing him.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know. At Horror Hound, our star of Fear of Blindness, a good friend of mine, Susan Eaterington, won the award for her acting.
Yes, she did. She won Best Actress. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a great friend of mine and very talented. I love her. She's a wonderful person. So I'm really happy for her. So kudos to her. And it was great working with her. We've been friends for years now. It was the first time we got to work together in a film. So that was fantastic. I've worked with Jeremiah Kipp a few times as a director, but my first time working with Susan. So I had a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed Fear of Blindness.
I did. I also enjoyed doing Perseveration. I reviewed that a couple months ago.
I did see your review. Yes.
It's crazy. It's like I said, literally like everything I was reviewing there for a while you were popping up in. And you've worked with so many varied people. I just saw on social media that you worked with another person I've interacted with and interviewed a lot, Jasmine St. Clair.
Oh, yeah, Jasmine actually and I, it's a funny story, but we met through Ginger Lynn because I was on the Ginger Lynn radio show. And Ginger Lynn and I both know Michael Berryman because we both work with him. And Jasmine St. Clair and I have worked on Catch of the Day, James Balthomo's film. We're also in Scores of the Predator now together, directed by my good friend Andy Troy. And then we're both in Tapestry, a film directed by Ken Kushner that stars Stephen Baldwin.
I love that she's kind of reinventing herself, and she's a very driven person, and very intelligent and articulate, so,
Yeah, exactly right. And, it's good to stretch one's boundaries, I think, as an actor. You don't want to, limit yourself. Like when we did Tapestry, which is, kind of like a rather traditional kind of film, there's no swearing, there's no nudity, there's no sex. It's just, a really, wholesome, good story. And I think there's definitely, an audience for that. I thought it was good for both of us to do that because I'm a scream queen. She's done other things in her life as well, and you want to branch out and try new things. Challenge yourself as an actor. Why not, right?
Absolutely. Something I actually wanted to ask you about as far as branching out was you worked with Mike O'Mahony on, you were in IBS, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I've met Mike, and Mike's a lot of fun, but I just reviewed A Dark Place Inside, and you were in that as well. Was it just as fun on set, or did he kind of focus, since that's really his first serious film?
He's a fun guy. He's a nice guy. He always brings a certain amount of levity to it, but he's also very focused, I would say, as a director, and he's very passionate about what he does. And very intense, I think, person to work with. So it was fun, but there were certainly some intense moments and stuff. He definitely has a vision. I really like working with Mike a lot, and one of the reasons why I worked on IDX, even though I only have a small part in it, is that I wanted to meet Mike, because I had heard so much about him, and I knew I wanted to be in his next film, whatever it might be. So I was kind of feeling him out and building a relationship with him. And I was very happy to be in A Dark Place Inside, starring with Rob Dimension in that. And, it was a really fun experience. It was a really interesting part. And it's a very different film for him, but I think it definitely works,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a departure for him, but you can tell that he was focused on it, and I think he's very talented. He's going to go places. Rob Dimension, another person that's coming into his own as an actor, I think. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, I think Michael Mahoney, I even told him, like, I think he's very much, like, evolving as a director, as an artist. And he's really, like, progressing and moving forward leaps and bounds, I think, with every film that he does. He has a lot of range, you know, so I think it was great that he did these comedic films and then decided to develop into something serious to show he has range, that he's capable of doing that, you know, that he can rise to the challenge. And I think that's really important as a director and also as an actor. You know, every film I do, you know, I'll do comedies, I'll do horror, once in a while I do drama. I want to, you know, vary things up and keep things interesting and really, like, challenge myself.
And I think you do that because, I mean, the characters you've played in these various films have been really, I mean, they run a wide range, and I think that's testament to your skill as an actress, you know, and I applaud you for that.
And that's what I try to do as an actress. Like, I don't always, like, I'm a scream queen, certainly, and I love the horror genre, but I don't always want to be the victim that runs and falls or whatever, you know, and gets killed. I also want to play other, like, dynamic and interesting parts. So every time someone comes to me and they have something completely unique and different for me to do, you know, I'm excited and I want to do it. And people, luckily, have always, you know, are always coming up with things like, you know, zombie hunters. I play a member of the National Guard. I know, Patrick was originally going to cast a male in the role and decided to cast me instead. You know, I thought, you know, why not, right? Because he even said there's women in the National Guard now. Why don't I have, you know, a woman in the role? So I think it's always great to kind of branch out and do different things, and that keeps me excited and it challenges me. Like, sometimes the best roles as an actor are the ones that you're not sure you're going to be able to play. You know?
Absolutely.
Because they're so different and diverse. Yeah, yeah. And then you rise to the occasion and you do them, and you're just like, wow. You know, that's like one of the best things I've ever done. I'm glad I did it, you know? You don't want to get pigeonholed, in my opinion. You know, doing the same character at the same time supports over and over again. You want to keep it interesting. You want to keep it exciting. You want to keep yourself always moving forward, always evolving as an artist, you know?
And you and Susie have something in common in that you both have the distinct pleasure of having played a nun, you and Perseveration and her, and Lewis, part of the Psycho Street anthology.
Well, yeah, it's important, I think, to play a nun at least once, right?
Exactly. I got a good question for you now. 100 years from now, the dystopian wasteland that's left of Earth, there's one DVD of one of your movies left. Which one do you want it to be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. A DVD of something that I've done. What would I want there to be around and no one else could see? That's a really tough call.
I don't expect you to burn any bridges with that answer, so, yeah.
That's a really good question. Cool. Well, so I'm going to bring up a couple, I guess. The ones I would want. I can't really decide on one.
Okay, we'll give you a mulligan. We'll give you a mulligan. You can have a couple.
Yeah, I'll say a couple. But one of them would be Agoraphobia, Fear of Sexual Assault, directed by Bradley Corenzo, and starring both of us, and I thought that was a really cool role for me. I have, like, blonde hair, I'm wearing a wig in that, and it takes place in the 80s, and I'm kind of like this bitchy boss. One of my employees was accused of sexual harassment, and he kind of comes back for vengeance on me. It's pretty, you know, intense role. I star in it, and I have a lot of fun with the part, and I think it really showcases my acting ability in a really great way. I also like Soulless, which is directed by Chris Allenstein an awful lot. So I played two roles in that movie, and I thought that was really challenging to me as an artist. I show up as Charlotte Elling, who's like kind of like this soldier going around killing zombies with a machete and a baseball bat. She's like a pretty tough, resilient, almost kind of masculine kind of character. And then I pop up as Madame Sterling with a French accent and a wig, wearing all this makeup, as like a fortune teller, you know, advising some of the main characters. And I just thought that was really challenging for me to change my voice, to change my mannerisms, to change my look, and play two different characters in the same film. And Chris wasn't sure if I was going to pull it off, but in the end, he said it came out better than he had imagined. You know, and that to me, you know, is what it's all about. You know, that was really challenging. And then, you know, I think Apocalypse Kiss too. Supporting cast in that, but it was really a film that I'm really proud to have worked on. I told Christian Grilla that when I saw the film for the first time, I cried a little bit because I just think it's so beautiful and so well done. You know, and I'm Italian and I cry fairly easily.
Oh yeah, you worked with him in Blood Slaughter Massacre. No, you worked with Carmela in Blood Slaughter Massacre, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, I play news reporter in Blood Slaughter Massacre. Yes, so Christian Grill is in that. His wife is in that. A whole bunch of people are in that actually, and and Manny Serrano directed that. That was a great film, and I recommend that. It's really serious film, beautifully shot. It takes place in the 1980s, kind of like a slasher film. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I reviewed it. I actually reviewed it on nerdremix.com, and I also reviewed it in Horror Hound magazine. So
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, that was like a really intense and fun film to work on. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yes, it made my top 10 list of last year. So.
Oh, awesome. And I was also in Attack of the Green People, which is another film that Manny Serrano worked on, and it was also, his wife, Lindsay, worked on, and I know Louis Cortez actually worked on as well, which is like kind of a series. It's like kind of like sci-fi horror. I guess it's in the 1950s. It's shot in black and white. And I wear this fantastic wig that I have to thank my mother and grandmother for finding. It's real human hair, and it's actually from the 1950s. It looks very much like Tippi Hedren's hair in The Bird, and I'm wearing that and that.
Outstanding.
And I had a lot of fun with it. What?
I said outstanding. I was looking at your IMDb. I noticed you were in Jacko Slasher, too. I reviewed that also.
Well, Jacko Slasher, believe it or not, I have a great history with that one. That was my first horror movie. Before that, I was doing more drama and shorts and things like that. And then Jen Valdez asked me to be in Jacko Slasher, and through Jacko Slasher, I had a scene with James Balsamo, who's become a great friend of mine. And I did I Spill Your Guts right after that, and I did Zombie Hunters right after that, and I did a whole bunch of horror films after that. And Jacko Slasher is what kind of got the ball rolling. And then it's been a wild and exciting ride since then, where since 2012, I think I've accumulated like 40 IMDb credits, and probably more like 45 in real life. But yeah, that's a fun.
Like I said, I mean, you've worked with everybody. It's amazing looking at the very body of work that you've accomplished in a short time. What can you tell me about Hunters? Because Adam told me that it's going to make a lot of people hate him.
Well, what I always say to myself and I say to others is you have to crack 2 eggs in order to make an omelet. And if you're an artist and you want to be edgy and you really want to put yourself out there and be artistic, not everyone's going to like you. And I think, kudos to Adam for being brave and being bold, putting himself out there like that, And I think, my character is really kind of like this vile, like abusive mother. She's going to be very disturbing. It's going to be very risque, I would say, and very, something that I'm very excited to be playing, of course. And something that was really exciting that Adam asked me to play, And it's going to be a really vile and disgusting film, and I think it's going to push a lot of boundaries. And I think it's going to be probably very disturbing and maybe a little controversial. And I think even for Linnea Quigley, it's probably going to be something maybe a little above and beyond what she's done in the past. Which is probably saying a lot because she has an extensive, background in film. And I'm a big fan of Linnea Quigley. I love her in Night of the Demons and so many of, Texas Chainsaw Hookers and Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and a whole bunch of movies that she's been in. So, I think it's going to be a beautiful film when it's done, but yeah, it's not going to be for the faint of heart.
Well, I had seen The Cemetery and loved that, and I had reviewed Crossbearer that Adam did, and I actually saw him at the Time to Kill premiere at Horror Hound a couple weeks ago, but I didn't want to lose my seat, so I didn't get up to introduce myself.
Well, he's a really great, a very talented and artistic guy, but he likes to really delve into some really disturbing kinds of imagery, just really disturbing areas, and that's great. That's his art. And I certainly respect that, and I'm really excited to be part of it. I think Hunters has huge potential, and I'm really, so overwhelmed and excited to be working on that with him. I know Adam has a huge amount of potential as a director, and I really see him going places. So I'm super excited.
So you got a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Let's review. What do we need to watch for?
Well, coming out, you need to watch for, The Dark Place Inside is already out, so watch for that and buy it. And Fear of, I'm in 4 episodes of that, and that's going to be on Italian TV, and I think it's going to get more distribution than that as well. Perseveration already has a European distribution deal, and I'm sure it's going to get a one in the U.S. as well. I know from Escape from King's Park It's also a film that's going to be getting released fairly soon, so watch for that. Skid Row, I know, is having a screening tomorrow at the R Bar in Brooklyn, actually, and a lot of other places. Skid Row is a great movie starring Frank Stallone, and I'm in that as well. And Zombie Hunters, episode 9 and 10. Episode 10 just came out recently at a comic convention, so I was really excited about that. Attack the Braining People has been premiering a lot of things. It was just at the Tennessee Fair in New Hope, Pennsylvania this past weekend. I'm sure we'll see Bloodsport Massacre shown all over the place, too. In 6 Minutes of Death, a film directed by Joe Simonera that just went to Redbox. I play a demon in that, and I have a great scene with my very good friend Bob Sachi, who I very much consider to be a mentor in acting. And then also look for me in Witch and Blood, directed by Ryan Scott Weber, and I'm in that with my good friend Edward X. Young. And also Push the Beast, Kazuka's Curse, that I'm also in with Edward X. Young. He plays like a satanic cult leader, and I'm his lustful follower in that. And then also, I guess, look for me in Bill Zabubb's movie Science for Fiction. And then also Lessons of Love. And then I was in his previous film that was released a while ago, Jesus, the Order of God. So I have a whole bunch of things that you could be looking for all over online. And Jacko Slasher, not too long ago, got a really good distribution deal, so you can find that really all over Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, all these stores, and online as well. So, you know, you could definitely find my films. And of course, I Split Your Guts you can find really easily, too.
Okay.
And then,
all I have to say is, holy shit, you've amassed a giant body of work in a very short time, and you're a credit to the genre. I mean, bravo.
Oh, yeah, and I do some, thank you very much. And I do some comedy stuff and some dramatic pieces and things like that here and there, too. But I've been mostly focused on horror films. And, you know, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to put myself into it like 100%. So I did Jacko Slasher, and then after that I was pretty much like, you know what? I love horror movies. What would happen if I just put myself into this 100%? Like, how far could I take this? And it's been a really exciting ride. I've had, like, some weeks where, like, I've shot 4 days and like, maybe, like, in a week on different projects and stuff and kept myself really occupied. I put myself out there a lot. I'm very motivated. I'm very passionate about what I do. And, you know, and I think that shows. And a lot of people contact me and, you know, want to work with me. I contact a lot of people. If I see a very talented director, I get in touch with them and I put myself out there and see about working with them. You know, and one project I want to mention is Everybody's Going to Die at 10 Acres High. I just got cast in that recently, and we're raising money for that production. And you know, look us up online. We're raising money to you know, for camera work, for the production team, and everything to make sure that this is a really great film. We have a great script. We have a great team of people. You know, so keep us in mind if you have some extra money and you would like to support a horror film.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you very much for the interview, and we'll definitely have to have you back and look out for more of your stuff. And get online and look at all the stuff of yours I reviewed.
Oh, yeah, I will. I will look at it all. I know I watched the Perseveration one, and you had some images actually of me in the film. Mike told me about that one. And I'm just going to plug my Facebook, my Twitter real quick in case anybody wants to follow me or like me. Genevieve Rossi, Genoveza, Rossi, Rossi, 1 on Twitter. Facebook, I'm Genevieve Rossi 810. So, you know, follow me, and we'll become friends and all that fun stuff. Reach out.
All right, thanks a lot for being on the Scream Kingdom, and we'll have you back soon. Thanks.
Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Entering the Scream Kingdom, I have the man of indie cinema, writer, producer, director, actor, and artiste and raconteur, Jimmy O'Burl. Jimmy, welcome to the Scream Kingdom.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here.
So,
I'm happy to be anywhere.
well, you're live via satellite, and it's going to be recorded and put up at a later date, so yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'm happy to be there too. And here's a special effect for you. There you go.
Outstanding. That's A quality stuff, people, and you're getting this for free. So.
Well, I'm a grown 50-year-old man who has a toy laser gun within reach.
I have an actual Star Trek phaser underneath the bar in my garage.
Nice.
So, Animated Sally. Tell us what you can tell us about
Animated Sally. Animated Sally is, if you ever saw the Chainsaw Sally show, you know that April and I have a Bugs Bunny problem. We're adult parents, responsible, bill-paying folk who love Bugs Bunny and love cartoons, and we literally watch more cartoons than we do horror movies. I mean, the Cartoon Network is by far the most played network on our TV sets. And so when Andrea Albin, our boss, came to us and said, "What do you think about doing Sally as a cartoon?" It was like, well, fuck yeah, she practically is already. And so the idea of doing Sally without gravity really appealed to me, you know?
You can have that Wile E. Coyote moment, treading air before the fall kind of thing, right?
Oh, she is Marvel comicking it all over the place. She is jumping from trucks. She is swinging from bell towers. It is a wild ride. I mean, it is just one crazy character after another. And we've got these incredible performers coming on to be voice talent, which, besides, of course, April being Sally, our new voice talent for Ruby is Nicholas Brendon, who, for Buffy fans, was Xander.
Outstanding. Tristan Risk is also involved, too, right?
Tristan Risk, the incredible fucking Tristan Risk. That is the most interesting, cool human being I've met this past year. Very nice, very down to earth, just weird enough that you fall in love with her. And she is just, she's a circus freak that happens to be gorgeously beautiful and incredibly fucking talented. And so she is playing, she's playing Miss Risk, because that seemed like a good name for it, who is like our version of Catwoman.
Outstanding. You can't, Miss Risk, you can't write stuff like that.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, and she's, I didn't know who the fuck she was until I saw American Mary. And for my money, her character, the Betty Boop looking character, stole the movie for me.
Yeah, there was kind of a creepiness that went along with it.
But it was this very interesting, engaging, charming, but weird. I mean, it's kind of everything Tristan is, which is engaging, charming, and weird. She just absorbed me when she was on screen, kind of like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. And so we got to be friends on Twitter like you do. And then we started this animation thing. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? And she was blown away because she's also a cartoon fan. And, there you go. So we're very excited about her.
I noticed when I saw some of the early artwork, that was, I'm not going to say in a style, but it was cartoony enough to seem almost like, comic book type, but not quite, Saturday morning cartoons. Kind of along the lines of The Haunted World of El Super Beasto, which I thought was brilliant. But kind of along that vein.
Now, while you're talking about that, the director of Super Beasto, Mike Dysa, is our animation director.
Outstanding. So there's a connection there. Also,
Yep.
You mentioned American Mary with Tristan in it. On the very first episode of the Scream Kingdom, I had Jen and Sylvia on.
Yeah, I love them. Love them, love them, love them.
So, is this going to be the end of live action Sally?
I don't know. I never say never. If this goes where I don't know. I mean, maybe later we do another one. I'll go wherever the fans want us to go, and whoever has money will pay for us to go.
I know that you all always have a lot of irons in the fire, and you're shifting focus from this whatever happens to be happening at the moment. What can you tell us about the Darling Clementines?
That is still happening. We have. It is cast. It is. I mean, everything is set to go on that. We are waiting to find out because the cartoon thing would be very, very big for us because it would be on TV. It would not be the direct-to-video type of situation that we've had for the decade that we've been doing this. Sally was filmed in 2004, and so we've officially been trying to make movies or entertain that way for 10 years now. So it seems that of all things, the animated series might actually be finally the break that we've been trying to get.
Yeah, and something like that, if it's a success, which I'm sure it'll be, because I'm kind of a fan, as you know. But all of a sudden, holy shit, you got an extra season to write, But I'm sure that's a holy shit that you would welcome, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, we already have, because before the animated series popped up, we had decided, well, let's see if we can get a decent budget for a season 3. So we have half of a third season written. And it's really good. And it takes Sally out of Porterville, blah, blah, blah. The animated series, however, pulls us back. I guess you would call it, if you want to look at the timeline, it would be a prequel. Because it's all in Porterville. It's Zeke and Earl are alive again. And it just seemed like the place to do it. I didn't want to start the TV show pulling her out of Porterville, because Porterville itself has kind of become a character because of the Lark Lady, which will be there, and Bob and Swallows and Greta Moorhead and all of these, and Mr. Gordon and Busy Bee and Debbie Rashawn's Blondie character. All of these things are really kind of fun and established, and I wanted the rest of the world who hadn't seen the direct-to-video stuff to see these characters before we try to move her away. It's kind of our Gotham City.
Well, I suppose if Bart Simpson hasn't aged in 25 years, you got a lot of time to keep Sally in Porterville, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and when we were pitching this to the network that we're in negotiations with, which I can't wait till I can announce that fucking thing. It's driving me crazy. They said, well, so tell us what you think Sally is. I said, well, I know exactly what Sally is. Sally is Batman with no money, no morals, and no penis. It is the exact same fucking story. Her parents are killed as she's a child. She witnesses the murder, and she goes nuts. But she doesn't have a mansion. She doesn't have millions of dollars. She doesn't have a butler. And so...
She's got an extremely odd little brother.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so she's really my Batman story, as I would have liked to have seen it, growing up in a trailer in the woods as I did. I mean, you can see kind of where I pulled from. And so I decided to, with the animated cartoon more than anything else, make our own Gotham City with our own rogues gallery of criminals. We've got the Baron, who is being played by Christopher Judge from Stargate. We've got the Exterminator, who is also being played, because he wanted to play a bad guy as well, also being played by Nicholas. And the Exterminator is this kind of guy who rules bugs and sends bugs into people's homes, and then it's creepy, it's fucked up. It is not for kids. Do not put your child in front of this fucking cartoon.
So is it more of the?
Don't put your child in front of the cartoon. Don't put your elderly mother-in-law in front of this cartoon. If you do not like machete or blood splatter or really, really bouncy boobs, this is not your cartoon.
Does it lean more towards the slapstick of season 1, or more to or splat stick, as we should say, or more towards the darker, more ominous season 2?
It's darker.
Darker?
Yeah, well, the fans said that's what they liked. It's still got a dark sense of humor to it. I'm not taking away the kind of weird shit that Sally does and the weirdness of the people like the Lark Lady. But it's certainly not going to be any kind of wackadoodle, Cartoon Network kind of goofiness. It's dark and it's fucked up. My goal when writing Sally, as it's evolved, is I want people to laugh, but then I want them to feel guilty for laughing.
Outstanding. Well, I think you achieved that in season 2, definitely. So
Sweet.
So
like a light bulb at the ass to really kind of disturb just everyone.
So what are you digging these days? I know you're always pretty vocal about what you're into as far as TV and movies and everything. What are you digging these days?
Well, of course, we enjoyed The Walking Dead, and we also enjoy Justified and Bates Motel. So there's a lot of it's a really good time for TV. From Dusk Till Dawn, the series is fantastic.
I heard that. I have yet to check it out.
I love it, man. I'm really into it. It's so cool. Especially my favorite character right now is the Gecko brother that was played by Quentin.
Yeah. Okay. Seth Gecko.
Seth. Yeah. Is of course a different actor entirely, but he's so expanded on this character that he's really intriguing, very neat. The other thing we're looking forward to that happens this weekend is Oculus.
I heard that's the guy that did Absentia, right?
Yeah, but it's also my director of photography for the Chainsaw Sally movie, Mike Flanagan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. That is our it's like he started going, popping up. April and I saw the commercial pop up on TV, and we literally cheered. It's like, fucking Mike made it, finally, yes, because he's a really talented guy. When we did Chainsaw Sally, the movie, you could tell by the movie, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had never written a movie. I'd never directed a movie. I'd done Silver Screen, but that was more of that was a stage play that I recorded on location. It wasn't written as a movie. It didn't have movie beats. It was meant, it's a musical.
Yeah.
And so I learned so much from Mike that it was amazing, and I'm so grateful that he, did that for us. And so when I saw that this was his, I'm so happy for him. I could not be happier if it was my own. He's such a good guy.
Stories like that are encouraging because, let's face it, I think as far as Hollywood studios have run out of ideas, and even with the horror on TV, you see something for an ad for Rosemary's Baby now, and you can imagine what that pitch meeting went like. Oh, well, Bates Motel was a hit.
Yeah.
It's kind of the wells dry a little bit, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around right now. But I'll tell you, this movie Oculus is going to kick fucking ass. I saw the short of it he did 5 years ago, and it's really fucked up. I mean, it's going to be a good ride.
I can't wait to see it. From what I've heard, I've heard good things for people that have seen. I've talked to a couple of people who have seen it at festivals and everything, and They said it's not what you're imagining. Because when I first saw the teaser trailer, I was like, oh great, another Japanese movie remade in English.
No.
But yeah, I've heard really good things about it. I can't wait to see it, and it opens Friday, right? Well, by the time this goes up, it'll be 2 days in the cinemas. But
yeah, you should look up Mike Flanagan on Twitter and see if you can get a interview with him, because he's such a good guy.
I'll be sure to name drop you.
Feel free. The thing is that I love seeing really talented, nice people actually succeeding, because they didn't fuck anyone over to get there. They worked and then honed a skill, and he did, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, and stories like that are encouraging, and I'm hoping that this animated series Sally blows up for you guys. I mean, because if anybody deserves it, you do. I mean, you know what a big fan I've been of Sally, the series, and you know what a big fan I am of the Good Sisters, and your work in general. So,
well, I thank you very much, and we are very hopeful about the animated series, and Clementines. Clementines is going to be disturbing. When that comes out, people are going to be upset.
Well, yeah, you let me read
I'm going to be getting some hate mail.
Yeah, you let me read an early version of the script, so.
Yeah. And you know the scene I'm talking about that's going to get me the hate mail.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You do.
But there's a lot of directors in indie film that are pushing the envelope now, and feel free to push it, because how else are you going to get noticed? Quite frankly, with all the people out there, making movies, and I mean, you can tell the people that have a passion for the genre, and you can tell the carpetbaggers.
Yeah, I don't believe in envelopes. I don't want anything to do with an envelope. It's like, this is the story I want to tell, and this is how I want to tell it. We had a chance, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago, to sell Sally to a Hollywood producer, and we could have made some money. And but they wouldn't have taken April. They wouldn't have taken. It would be the property.
Yeah, and it probably would have sat on a shelf.
And we just made the choice. It's like, it's ours. We're going to do with it whatever we do with it. And if it becomes a success for us, great. If not, it's still ours to play with. And I just didn't want to sell it. I was just greedy, I guess.
Yeah, and so many things like that. So many good ideas get lost in development hell. And even if it didn't, I mean, who the hell wants to see PG-13 Chainsaw Sally? I sure don't.
Oh yeah. If there's not an abundance of boobs and blood, it is not Chainsaw Sally.
Yeah, absolutely, and you should be applauded for that. If anybody knows what genre fans like, it's you. That's what's great about your work. I mean, you're a fan making films for fans.
Yeah, well, we are definitely fans. We did not get into horror because of because we thought it would be a savvy move into some kind of slick way to make cash because of the paranormal and all that kind of shenanigans, or Blair Witch, or it was just something that April and I both, even growing up before we ever met, we had this kind of passion for. When I was growing up, I was always in haunted houses, and I was always the the friend who was asked not to come back.
I kind of put it in terms of I was a famous Monsters kid, and then later in life a Fangoria kid. So
yeah, it's like, did your friend Jimmy steal all of my liquid mascara and paint it on his face? Well, yes, he did. He can't come back, and if he does come back, he needs to just stay in the yard. I'm a 13-year-old kid running around with Alice Cooper makeup on, and so I had my own, kind of cross to bear. But it's a lifelong passion. We're having a good time doing it. It would be cool if it became a full-time career. That's our goal, and that's what we're hoping for. And that's why after 10 years, we are still slugging it out.
So note to everybody listening, do not look forward to a Forbidden Pictures romantic comedy anytime soon.
If we ever do make a romantic comedy, it's going to be called it'll be called My Aching Finger, or some terrible thing.
Nice.
My Aching Finger.
Well, thank you for coming on the Scream Kingdom, and we're definitely going to keep people posted on the animated series, and we'll have you back soon.
I appreciate it. I can't wait to have more news to tell you and everyone else, and thank you again for kind of having our back for so many years now, Tom. It's nice to know.
Hey, man, I'm always a fan, always will be, brother.
Thank you so much.
you.